My brother was having 2 years ago the bris of his eldest son, my nephew. And the Moel at the bris was Rabbi Pesach Kron, the author of the Maggid stories, famous storyteller. And my Saba, Chron Livracha, was the Sandik. And this was his first great-grandson. My daughter was a great-granddaughter. And my Saba starts whispering into the Moel's ear after, while everybody's saying Mazel Tov. And the Moel stops everything and he says, I need everybody to stop. People are getting ready to go get bagels, and that's a hard thing to stop people. And he says, I need everybody to hear this. He said, the Sandik, the great-grandfather of this boy, Hillel Yitzchak, who just got named, just told me that the cup that we made the bracha with, this cup, has a very special story. The cup came from the Atzei Chaim, Rav Chaim Teitelbaum, who was the elder brother of the Satmar Rebbe, Rav Yaelish. And Atzei Chaim was the Rav of Siget, and his Chavrusa was my great-grandfather, who was killed. His Yortzei will be this Shabbos. And that cup was given, it was a silver cup, and for poor Jews in Carpathia, besides the fact that it had religious significance that was inestimable, it had monetary significance as well. And it came from the Rebbe and was given to my Saba on the occasion of his bar mitzvah. And when it came time, when they were getting ready to be sent on trains, my Saba's father said, listen, Yisrael, I want you to go and bury this. And my Saba buried it in the house, deep underground, and they were sent away. Over a year later, my Saba's family, his community, Chust, was radically different, almost completely wiped out. And my Saba and his sister and his mother remained. His 3-year-old brother was killed right off the spot, and his father was killed a day before liberation. He died after eating food that was given to him. My Saba decided after the war to go back to Chust, not really quite sure what to do. Europe was in ruins. And my Saba went back to what was his house, where there was now a family living there. He said, I need to dig something up. And sure enough, underneath was a flattened becher. And this was the becher from the Atzei Chaim. My Saba brought the becher with him to America, where he became a soldier in the U.S. Army, and later returned to study Torah that he had started before. And that cup was hammered out. And that self-same cup was the cup that my father had at his wedding, my uncle had at his wedding. It was the cup that was used in my bris. It was the cup that was used at my wedding. It's the cup that was used at my brother's wedding, and now it's the cup that was being used at the bris of my nephew, my Saba's great-grandson. Yesterday was the yahrzeit of the Atzei Chaim, and yesterday my Saba was nifter. My Saba was a survivor of Auschwitz. This Shabbos, he would have lain Shabbos Shira, Parshas B'Shalach, where he always would give a kiddush, where he commemorated his liberation. And I wrote yesterday, I wasn't able to make it, unfortunately, to the funeral, and I feel so guilty because of that. But I wrote for my brother, who was in St. Louis, able to make it, to say that my Saba would have said 70 years ago to this day, he was liberated by the Red Army from hell on earth. And 70 years ago, almost, he was liberated from this earth, from this Alma de Shikra, from this world of falsehood and lies, into the world that's Kulo Emes, the world that's all truth. I'll be very quick. Tonight, apparently, the theme has been education, education, education. Just a word on who my Saba was. My Saba, when we were Zocha to have all amongst us, Holocaust survivors, the living memory, who unfortunately now are dwindling. My Saba's entire life was education. When he came back, he was principal. He literally built the Denver Jewish community. He was principal for a little over 2 decades of the Hillel School there. He wrote the Sefer Gemara L'Matchilim, with countless thousands of Jews learned Gemara from for the first time. He lectured in the Sha'al program. He lectured all over the world. He would fly to Johannesburg. My Saba's entire life was dedicated And my Saba would never say he didn't believe that Nakama was a thing, revenge was even a thing, or that it was even possible. But my Saba would say, if there was a concept, it would be that we teach Jews Torah. So a book like this is something that my Saba said is very apropos, quite fitting, as we transition from the living memory into the memory that we have to forge for ourselves. Education, chinuch, limud Torah. I could speak for hours about my Saba. I was his oldest grandchild. I'm going to fly out Mirz Hashem Matzei Shabbos to see my Savta, who should live and be well, also a survivor. I guess my family didn't need right now, and we don't need to be reminded that the living memory is transitioning to a memory we have to forge for ourselves. But let's all keep in mind, Schus my Saba and all survivors that are alive with us and that are no longer with us, to learn and to continue learning and to teach our children. Thank you.